Are you good to go?
Yep.
All right. So, hello, everyone, and welcome to the Talk to Danielle podcast. I am your host, Danielle C. Baker. And before we get started with our guest, I just wanted to say you can hit that like, follow, or subscribe button to get access to all the other episodes. Today, we are talking about a topic that is very, it's important to me because I've worked with so many families over the years. And I see how dads are not often given a fair chance to be dads. There's that stigma or that stereotype where dads shouldn't be caring for their children. And I had the privilege of meeting over almost 20 years, so many dads that are very present in their kids' life, and that it's important to show the support for them as well. So I have a really fun guest, actually. I'm really happy that you're on, Dee. Thank you so much for coming on. And Dee is a dad. I have no idea how we stumbled on Instagram. I have no idea, but anyways, for some reason we follow each other, and
I have no idea.
I just love what you do with the kids. I love the message you send out there. There's such a positive message for dads. And that's why I'm so happy that you're on. So thank you. And can you share with us your story a little bit, just to talk about yourself and how you got here?
I knew at a young age I would be a devoted father just because I kind of grew up without my dad. He wasn't present in the house at all. He was actually on drugs and but we live like right around the corner from each other. So I seen him like every day when I go get my granny cigarettes or play her lottery. Back then, she can call the store and, I'm sending D to the store, get my cigarettes, and he got my money for my lottery, that kind of stuff. And I just see him every day. And my mama ended up getting married when I was about, I think I was like 5 or 6. Yeah, something like that or whatever. But at that point, I don't know how, but I just already knew who my dad was. So by the time she got married, I knew this guy wasn't my dad, but he was fun. He was nice. They stayed married. My whole, like I said, I was about 5 or 6. I'm 33. She ended up dying 9 years ago. They was married the whole time. So, but he was a good guy or whatever, but I just knew that wasn't my dad. So the relationship wasn't, as tight as but I had my granddad. He was like the main father figure, because that's who I went home to, because my daddy wouldn't act right here, so him and my mama didn't have no life together, no shit like that. So, he was my father figure, and my stepdad, like I said, he was cool or whatever. But I just knew at a young age, if I ever had kids, I wasn't gonna, be like my dad and stuff. It didn't necessarily bother me as a kid. It kind of started being in the way once I became a teenager, acting out. Not listening to my mama. And back then, me not knowing, not having my actual father in the house could be the reason, a lot of this stuff was happening. And I wasn't a bad kid or nothing. I just, influenced by friends, raised in poverty, that kind of stuff. And being a father really changed everything. I've been a father for 9 years. It didn't happen overnight, ever since my first kid was born, I've been there every day, but I just made mistakes over the first couple of years, hanging out with friends and, doing all of that kind of stuff. But I was there. It never went without. I just had to grow up a little bit. And another reason I feel like my mother ended up dying or whatever, but she died 6 months after my oldest son was born. So she got to meet, spend time with him for 6 months before she died. She was so happy to be a grandma, and she wrote me and my brother a letter before she died and all kind of shit. And it was just saying make sure you raise my grandson and, be nice to women and all of that kind of stuff. And I just wanted to actually do what was in that letter. But when she first died, I was like really messed up for the first few years. You just don't get over that kind of stuff. And it's really like my mother died, and a month and a day later, my grandmother died, which is her mother. Then my granddad, which is my mother's father, my granny's husband, he died 4 months later, so that was like, it was a lot. So I was just going through it and trying to maintain being a good father, being a good person, all of that. And, went through a couple things. Life changed a little bit and had my second son a year later. And that kind of did it. Something tragic happened in my life or whatever, and I actually had to sit down for a few months and recover. And I was in the hospital for 30 days, and it was a month before my second son was born. And they was trying to keep me longer, but it was interfering to, I'm like, my son getting ready to be born. I got to get out of here. So they sped up the rehab process and, got me going, got me walking again and all of that. But I was like really down and out for like a lot of the time he was born. But he was born, and my kid's mother actually had to get a job at the time because I couldn't do nothing for months. And me and him kind of, just had a bond, just being around him every moment, crying. And, my oldest son there. And, I kind of started looking at life different after being in that hospital for 30 days. Only one person really coming to see me, not having nobody to talk to on the phone. And, my mom and them ain't here no more, so I really ain't got nobody. And just being around my baby son and my oldest son and, bonding and having that tragic situation, previously. And it kind of like gave me a different perspective on life. So,
yeah,
so I just had to do that. I had to grow up a little bit. I just kind of cut my friends off, the people I was hanging with. Just had to make a lot of changes. Just had to start over. And 6 years later, I have a daughter, and that changed my perspective again, So I started looking at women different, and, just the whole 9 yards. And but I knew at a young age I would be doing this though, and I make sure they feel loved, and, I talk to them, and because I get judged a lot. And the content I kind of put on social media with me and my kids is kind of like explicit to some people, but that's not like what I'm teaching my kids. My kids cuss or whatever, but they know how to cuss casually, like they slam their finger in the door there, damn, something like that. But they're just not running around just cussing and being bad, and they're very respectful. But that goes back on me, they don't see me walking around, acting crazy. We only do it on camera. So, and I explain I talk to my kids about so much stuff that they don't even understand. I just put the words in there just so they can remember it as they get older and develop and stuff like that. Yeah. So I explain to them like how TV is fake. A lot of the stuff you see on TV, not real, video games and stuff like that. I try to break it down how things are scripted and stuff, and we just kind of do the same, It's like a fun learning process for them because I ain't get taught that stuff as a kid.
Yeah, and that's what's important too, because you're being real with your kids. You're not putting them in a bubble and putting on a show for them. You're just real with them and showing them what's right from wrong, and that's really what's the most important thing to them. So that's what
my upbringing got a lot to do with the way I raised my kids also, because not like I was raised wrong or anything. Well, you can say I was raised wrong in certain perspectives for like diets, eating and stuff like that, but I come from a loving home. I never went without, never starved, I didn't have the latest stuff or anything like that. I always had clothes, important things, and like my mama, she used to drink earlier in my childhood, and as I got older, she used to kind of get drunk and take her frustrations out on me and stuff. And eventually she stopped drinking for me and stuff. But I just remember vividly that certain things she did, I don't want my kids to feel that same way. And so I just do things a little different. I still like got her blueprint, but I put my own little sauce on it, you know. So
yeah. That kind of leads into my next question, because you've mentioned quite a bit on the change and how do you have to adjust, and how it's kind of trial and error at first. You try something, you say, oh, that maybe that would not have been the best decision, but you go with it, right? But you said it sounds like your mom, your grandmother, your grandfather were really there for you, influence you, and how to show up as that. Was there anyone else or anything else that influenced you when you said, you know what, this is exactly how I want to show up for my kids? Or the opposite, something when you went, there's no way I'm showing up for my kids that way,
No, really just not having my father present. That just kind of just drove me to, I don't want to be like that, Me and him actually had a relationship after I got older and was old enough to drive and go around them on my own terms and stuff like that. And after he died, after my kids was born and I went through everything I went through, and I'm bonding with my kids more, I kind of started resenting him. But he been dead. He died in 2010. But I kind of started resenting him as my boys started getting older. Like, there's no way he loved me, if he couldn't get his act together and all of that. But now that I'm older now, this was when they was babies. Now they 8, 9, 10 years old. I look at stuff from his perspective. Maybe he just couldn't handle it, and maybe it's not his fault completely. It's his life. So
yeah.
So I kind of like, even though he dead and gone, I kind of like forgave him and moved past that resentment I have for him. And,
yeah, that's the best thing you can do. Yeah, it's definitely the best thing you can do, because you can't change the past. So you just have to change the past. And you can change the past, but just, show up the way you want to show up. Yeah. What would you say? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No. I was going to ask if there was something you say often when you're posting is fatherhood is the hood I claim. But what would you say is the hardest thing you gave up to really be there for your kids? Because you mentioned you had to let go of some of the friends and stuff like that. But what would you say would be the hardest thing you had to give up?
Probably popularity, maybe. Well, that was pretty hard to, I just always been that person. Everybody knew I was cool, nice to everybody, respect with everybody. And, I still, when I go out, people, see me and stuff like I'm somewhat still popular, but, I'm older now, younger kids getting older and, they got the spotlight and, not like on no famous level or nothing like that, but just being popular, being able to be out and be in the current situation. And I just had to take a back seat to everything. And I'm okay with that, because as long as I can raise my kids to be the opposite of what I turned out, I'll be fine. I feel like I live my purpose.
Yeah. Social life is hard to, as a parent, you just have to, that's a tough one. It really is a tough one.
Especially when people don't have kids, that's like my biggest thing. Friends and invite me out somewhere and I'm like, no, I got to do this with the kids, and they still trying to convince me and, figure out to go around my schedule, and it's horrible.
Yeah. And they don't understand your reality, so it is harder. Yeah. What would you say are some of the challenges you face now as a father? I mentioned earlier with what I've seen where dads are not really given a fair chance. So what obstacles do you face now as a dad, like challenges that you have?
Stereotypes. Like I said, I get judged a lot. So when people first meet me, they just assume I'm the typical Black dad. So like I've been taking my kids to school every day since they started school, literally every day. Staff and everything, they they know me, they know who I am and all of that stuff. And when they every school they first started, wanna say hi?
Yeah. Hi. Oh, there she is. Hi.
Say hi.
Who's this lady? She's like, I don't know this one.
But like a lot of the staff when I first met them, they was kind of giving me the cold shoulder as if my kid's mother made me show up just because it's the first day of school, and they probably weren't expecting to see me no more, maybe once or twice more out the school year, but it kind of shocked a lot of them just seeing me every day. I'm just not dropping my kids off. I actually get out, take my kids into school, and and I pick them up that way. Cause they got this program now. I said program. Well, basically it's a program where you line up and they put your kids in the car and you leave. And, I'm not with all that. I want to pick mine up at the door, make sure the day went how it's supposed to. And if there's any problem, we can address it right then and there, opposed to trying to send an email or call somebody and nah. So stereotypes and what's another challenge I face? Now that I got a daughter, I face all kind of challenges.
Daughters do that.
It's a lot of creeps out there, and that kind of I didn't really have the same feeling with my boys. And especially another thing is when I had my boys, I was younger. I had a different attitude, different mindset. I was a different person. Back then when they was born, I actually wanted them to grow up and be gangsters, not necessarily the typical gangsters you see on TV. I just want them in my image, tattoos and braids and all of that. And now that I'm older, realizing everything I had to go through, I just don't want that for them. I'm actually trying to get some of this removed on my face through laser surgery. There's something I plan on, if not all of it. Not like I regret any of it. It's just that I got kids and I just want to be a good example for them. I got a daughter now. I don't want her falling in love with somebody that looks like me. They might not have the same kind of heart I have, so I just don't want her to be attracted to what her dad looked like. And, I just want to clean it up a little bit. And it's a lot of people don't understand that. It's people telling me I shouldn't remove my tattoos and, all that mess. And yeah, man, it's a lot of challenges, period. It's just a lot of challenges. I can go on forever.
The stereotype is really tough to get over because, like you say, it's they'll just automatically judge, and it's so hard to put that positive spin on it. And that's what I liked about the energy you put out there, because when you're posting, you're just yourself, but we can see how much you love your kids and how much you're there for them and how much they're getting from you too, because you can see how happy they are. And I'm just looking at your little one right now. She's just sitting there going, I'm right next to daddy and I'm going to enjoy my time. So that's amazing. I want to know, what's your favorite thing to do with your kids? And I know everybody, every child has a different personality, so it might be different things, but what's your favorite thing to do with the kids?
My favorite? I probably don't have a favorite. Just everything, whether if it's watching TV together, just if I'm outside watching them play, or we play catch with baseball, go to the park, play basketball, just everything. Just from losing my mama, granny, and granddad all within a year. I was always told life was short and all of that. I experienced death my whole life, losing childhood friends, uncles, aunties and stuff like that. But just that close to home, it just made me realize how precious life is. And I also have Crohn's disease. That's why I'm kind of small. It's an intestinal problem. I'm on a real strict diet, and I have celiac disease, so I can't eat gluten and like raw fruits and vegetables and stuff like that. But everybody is different. I'm still trying to figure out my diet, what works best for me, because I still eat fruits and vegetables and stuff like that. But I kind of lost train of thought. Oh, by me having Crohn's disease, having to get colonoscopies every couple of years, and just having stomach pains and being rushed to the ER. I'm doing a lot better now that I got knowledge of what's going on. When I was first diagnosed, I didn't. My granny had cancer for like 10, 15 years before she died, so I'm not looking at this as serious thinking. And that just kind of that plus my parents dying, because them the three people who raised me. My stepdad, he was there, but that's a whole nother story. Me and him actually don't have a relationship now. He done got remarried, and but just losing them, and I lost 3 and I gained 3. So, I'm just like, I'm not going to take their love and time for granted, because I feel like I did that with my mom and them once I got grown. But another thing, like I said, I was raised right in love, but it was just a lot of things like my mama yelling and just the way she handled things. It kind of made me want to be around friends more than her as I'm older. But now that I'm even more older, I do anything just to be around her and, all of that kind of stuff. But just being, 18, 19 and stuff like that, I just really didn't care to be around her just off of when she used to drink, how she treated me as a kid. So,
Yeah, but you're right with that. You made a really important point there, where we don't know how much time we have, so that time needs to count. And to be present means that when you're in the moment with them, you really are there. You're not distracted with other things. You're really spending. And that's what I see. And I invite whoever's listening to that, when we see what you post out there, you guys are having fun. You can see that you're really in the moment, and it's really fun to see. I wanted to ask you, with the life experience that you've had, what kind of wisdom would you like to pass on to your kids just to make their life easier? What kind of things do you would want them to know?
I actually just have daily conversations with them and just talk to them and give them advice. Just knowing they don't understand it, and I let them know it's okay. Okay, not to understand it. I don't expect them to at the moment, but just remember, that's all I ask from them. But just be your own person. Don't really care about too much about what people think of you. I kind of had that bad growing up. Be more confident. And just be respectable to everybody, because you don't know who is who in this world, If you walk around being a dickhead or, an asshole all day and you're doing it to everybody, it could be somebody that can put you in a better position in life. But, you're walking around being, so that's why I just tell them be respectful, mindful for other people. And I carry myself that way just so, they say children mimic their parents' behavior. And I get compliments on my kids' behavior at the school, actually, like the teachers and staff tell me, that I'm doing a good job. And it warms me up, because it lets me know I'm doing something right.
That's right. That actually leads me to the question I was saying, because it's something that needs to be said more often. But how often are you told that you're doing a great job as a dad?
Yeah, often. Strangers, we can be in Walmart, just a store, random store, and somebody just last week we was at the store getting some fruit, and we was in the produce section, and there was a older man. He actually complimented my kids because they were just sitting there, we just holding a regular conversation. They asked me about fruit, how if some fruit bad or what's this fruit and stuff like that. And the old man just came and complimented me on my kids because it was just another kid cutting up their parent, holding them, like that, and kicking and screaming in the store. And, and I think mine's never had to go through that because I just put down discipline, from day one. Once they got old enough to understand what no means and stuff like that, I kind of probably was like rougher on, well, not probably, I was rougher on them, putting down the discipline than I am my daughter, because she do get away with more than they did. But men and women are just different, from birth. So, so I really I got to figure out a different blueprint for her. But I think that's why my kids are well behaved. That's through good discipline. It's more than just spanking a child and yelling at them and stuff like that. I can't even tell you the last time I even yelled at my boys. Like I said, I had to learn all of this stuff and read and read about statistics and all of that stuff. And I see like a lot of those statistics, I don't listen to everything that, I get from my resources and stuff, but I listen to most of the stuff that makes sense to me, at least. It actually shows.
Yeah, you gotta go with what resonates with you and what works with your reality too. What kind of advice do you think that men need to hear when they're about to become a dad? From your experience, what would you have liked to have gotten for advice when you found out you're going to be a dad?
I wish somebody would have told me how fast their time speeds up once you have a kid. The time already, goes by fast, but once you have your kids, oh man, that fast is a different kind of fast. But like when it comes to my kids, I'm really emotional. For anybody who know me, they know, I lost my parents and all of that. Like I'm literally in the world kind of by myself. I have family, but we kind of all over the place. So where I'm from here in Flint, Michigan, I only have a few family members that's around still. So like I said, I'm really emotional when it comes to my kids, so I can just get to looking at pictures from when they was 2, 3 years old, and I get to crying and stuff like that, I just wish somebody could have told me how fast time, because I'm always, I got time, and, but you really don't. So that's why now when I tell my kids we're going to do something, I make sure that we do it. I don't tell them nothing. I think it's a possibility. I might not can do it, or, but if it's something I know that can be done for sure, I make sure I keep my word on that.
Yeah.
And,
that's important too.
That's the advice all the time. There's a lot of like, I'm getting ready to have a little boy in October. And I'm excited because I get to make up for some of the stuff I didn't do when my older boys was that age, and so, time.
Yeah. Time, and it does slip by.
Yeah.
I have 2 boys myself, and they're grown, and I'm thinking, when did this happen? When did this happen? Yeah, so I get it.
I try to mentally prepare myself. That one day is just gonna be there. We can't see it coming, we can't stop it or anything. So I just mentally prepare myself with that kind of stuff. How's your relationship with your boys?
They're good. I have to say I've been really lucky, and they're 2 completely different personalities. My oldest one is more like me, and my youngest is more like his dad, but I'm really thankful that I think it's the same like the daughter-father relationship and the mother-son relationship. There's that connection there, so I'm so grateful. But just like you, we do things, we react a certain ways sometimes, and you're like, oh, I wish I hadn't done that. But learn from it. But that time just flies. It's I
actually talk to my kids about my errors. Like I said, I can't tell you the last time I yelled at them, but the times I have, I would correct myself, tell them I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that. And I explained to them like people, lose control, and I'm more working on controlling my emotions. Like I'm number 33. I got a long way to go, but I'm working on it though. And as long as you just practice it every day, like some of the things that used to irritate you won't even bother you, So I see the change in that, and I just try to, just pass it on to my kids as much as possible.
Yeah,
I just
and it's good.
remember. Go
ahead. No, I was going to say it's good to remember. I think there's a lag in our. That's why we keep overlapping, but it's a good thing to do for your kids because they'll get to see that when they're adults, when they're parents, when they do react a certain way, they're going to remember what you taught them and say, okay, yeah, it's normal. It's normal to react. We just have to own it and correct it. And you're teaching them a great thing there.
And like me growing up, I ain't necessarily get in trouble, but like if I came home with a D or something like that, or a C, like my mama would kind of be disappointed, but and I'm not no whiz kid or anything, so like that was kind of like discouraging because I probably can't keep up with what's going on in class, and they grade me and giving me these grades, and I might not even deserve these grades. I probably just need a little bit more time, and I'm just different when it comes to my kids. Well, now they get like 1, 2, and 3s instead of A, B, and C and D and stuff like that. Yeah. So their grading is different. But I think a 3 is good. I can't remember. School just started, so I get back in the rhythm of what's what.
Yeah.
But, when I see my kids kind of not necessarily failing, but need improvement, like I just remember, just getting them grades and how my mama react and all of that. And I just want to be different about it. I just don't want them to make the same mistakes and get discouraged over the things I got discouraged of. And I want them to know it's okay to make mistakes, and it's okay not to understand something right then. And I want them to understand that repetition, repeating a certain thing, will bring understanding to the equation, so yeah.
Yeah. And just as long as they're doing their best, I think that's what's important. And that's good. Yeah. I have a question for you, and it's the question I ask everybody. And just as a backstory to that is, it's a little girl who interviewed me about 3 years ago, and she was asking this question to every adult she interviewed for school, and nobody would answer, but I did. So she got all excited, and so I told her I would ask everybody I interview, I would ask that question, and that question is, what do you want to be when you grow up?
I saw that. I was like, maybe she think I'm a teenage parent or something.
No. This is just we're asking grown people that question.
What I want to be when I grow up, because like I said, I just turned 33 back in April, and I feel like I wasn't grown until I turned 30. That's just my opinion. But what do I want to be when I grow up? A great father.
There you go. That's a great answer. Father. Yeah. And you're already doing it, so that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, father is never gonna end for me, no matter how old they get. So that's why I kind of don't have a lot of respect for fathers who kind of, once their kids turn 18, they just, feed them to the sharks. Like, you grown, figure it out. Like, I just don't feel like it should be that way. Kids don't ask to be here. So if you bring one in this world, you should, take care of responsibilities no matter how old they are. You are always going to be the elder. So you can always give them some piece of wisdom that'll help them out. So I just kind of don't have a respect for men that like that. Yeah.
No, that's good. Being a father is a hard job. So it's an ongoing thing.
I know fathers that's probably about 60 years old, and I'm better than them. They do stuff for their kids. I mean, they won't even do stuff for their kids at a certain age just because they're grown. And I didn't see my granddad do that with, my granddad always, if my mama needed something, he was there. If my auntie, which is her sister, needed something, he was always there. He was there up until, I actually never seen my granddad cry until my mama died, after him losing his daughter. So, father is never going to end, It'll end once I leave this earth, after I take my last breath. So
Yeah.
Yep. That's what I
That's a
want to
big
be when I grow up, a great father.
That's awesome. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to tell your story and pass on some of that wisdom because, like I said,
Thanks for having me.
More people need to hear it. More people need to see that there's some great dads out there, and to not just go over the stereotype of, well, mothers are the only ones who take care of their kids. That's not true.
Yeah.
There's a lot of a lot of present. Yeah.
I think
So I want to.
I think that's kind of like a problem too. I think that image of a strong woman raising her kids, not needing a man. I think that kind of it's like brainwashing everybody, and is having an effect on men and women, and now we just got this big mess, and it's crazy.
Yeah. I agree with you because that's what I grew up in. That's the environment I grew up. That strong single mother raising her daughters to be strong, independent women. And when you get into a relationship, that doesn't work. There's two people, right? Definitely. So you're right. I will back you up on that one. Yeah, it does. There's a lot of work to get done on that as well. So I want to thank you. And for anybody who's listening, who really want to see you at work, do you mind sharing where we can follow you or where we can reach you?
You can follow me on Instagram, fatherfigure_89. My YouTube channel is fatherfigure420. Yep, fatherfigure420. And my email is fatherfigure420@yahoo.com. And TikTok, I have a TikTok. I don't too much get on it, but that's fatherfigure420. That's all the social media I have.
I'll put those up on the description and the comments as well. So again, I want to thank you so much. And for anybody watching, you can definitely don't be afraid to leave some comments, say, support the dads out there, and make sure we give that positive image. So I want to thank you again, and everybody again. Until next time, stay safe, stay awesome, and we'll talk soon.
Yep, you too.
Yeah.